Welcome to a journey beyond our world. Imagine floating in the vast expanse of space, surrounded by the marvels of advanced technology. Today, we're diving into the incredible gadgets that make life in space possible. Ever wondered what it's like to live in space? It's not just floating around in zero gravity and staring at the stars. Astronauts rely on some of the coolest and most unique gadgets that we Earthlings could never imagine using in our everyday lives. In this video, we're taking a closer look at 10 of the most fascinating gadgets astronauts use in space that we don't use here on Earth. Some of these will blow your mind. Let's kick things off with something that seems ordinary, but is far from it. The space pen. Unlike regular pens that rely on gravity to help ink flow, astronauts use pressurized pens that can write in zero gravity, underwater, and even in extreme temperatures. Imagine writing a grocery list underwater. Next up, astronaut dining is a little different. Forget plates and forks. Space food comes in specialized pouches, and they drink water from containers with straws that have special valves to stop liquids from floating away. No gravity means no spills, but also no open drinks. And here's where it gets real interesting. Zero-gravity toilets. Using a vacuum system, these toilets suck waste away since it can't fall like it does on Earth. Airflow helps guide everything into place. Bet you've never thought about that part of space travel. Sleeping in space? Yeah, that's a challenge. Astronauts sleep in anti-gravity sleeping bags that are strapped to the walls of the spacecraft to keep them from floating away. It's like being tucked in by the universe itself. One of the most iconic pieces of astronaut gear is the spacesuit. But did you know it's basically a personal spacecraft? It regulates temperature, supplies oxygen, and even protects astronauts from space radiation. It's not just a suit, it's a lifesaver. Everything in space floats, so astronauts use Velcro everywhere to keep tools, gadgets, and even food in place. On Earth, Velcro might be for your shoes, but in space, it's a lifesaver for everyday tasks. Haircuts in space? Yep, astronauts use space razors and clippers that have built-in suction mechanisms to catch hair clippings. You wouldn't want tiny hairs floating around the spacecraft, right? When astronauts leave their spacecraft for a spacewalk, they rely on tethers to stay attached. Imagine floating off into space. No thanks. These cords keep them anchored to the ship while they work on critical tasks. Speaking of spacewalks, astronauts need to carry portable oxygen ventilation systems, or POVS, to breathe and regulate their temperature while outside the spacecraft. It's like having your own personal life support system strapped to your back. Finally, staying fit in space is essential. Without gravity, astronauts would lose muscle and bone mass, so they use specially designed exercise equipment, treadmills, stationary bikes, and resistance bands that keep them from floating away while they work out. No slacking in space. So, those were 10 gadgets astronauts use that we don't need on Earth, but they're absolutely essential up in space. Living in zero gravity definitely requires some unique solutions. Oh, and remember that question from earlier? If you guessed the space pen, you're absolutely right. Regular pens just don't work in space because the ink needs gravity to flow. The space pen has a pressurized ink cartridge, so it works perfectly, even upside down. If you found this video fascinating, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more awesome space facts and top 10s. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on new content. Until next time, keep exploring.